Welcome students. Let's continue with the unit 3 of pharmacology, that is poisons and allergies. So there's a one type of allergy, that is after type 1, type 2 and type 3, type 4, that is the cross allergy, which is generally occurring uh, because of some of the drugs such as use of penicillin and cephalosporin together. Cross reactions occurs. So here these these type of reactions occur to the patients who are allergic to a certain type of drug. The symptoms can be eczema, etc. How to identify whether it is an allergic reaction? So the reaction is having loss of correlation to the pharmacological properties of the drug, means that is the reaction that has occurred is not generally in the spectrum of the effects that the will carry out in other people. Then lack of linear relation with the drug dose. So it means that if you give less amount of drug, then the effect that the drug would be giving, that would be very minor. But in the case of allergy, even if you give small amount of drug, the effect that is it is going to show is very very high. So there is no linear uh, relation of drug dose to the effect of reaction. Then rashes and angioedema. What do you mean by angioedema? It is the swelling. Then serum sickness syndrome, anaphylaxis or asthma are the allergy classical characteristics of like problems when protein allergies occur. Then there is it takes time to induce the reaction, but it is not necessary that re-exposure is necessary. Means if even if the drug was being administered to the patient for the first time, it might take some while, half an hour, 1 hour, but the reaction but the allergic reaction has onset without even the patient having been encountered with that drug previously. Then uh, very few people, minority of the patients will be suffering from this is the not usual type of effect that the drug would show. So these are the characteristics of allergies. So let us understand different principal clinical manifestations and treatments of different types of allergies. So according to the types of allergies, they have classified different allergies. So let's start with urticarial rashes or and angioedema, which are generally of type 1 and type 3. These are the most common type of drug allergies, and they are uh, they they cause edema of the larynx, itching, etc. What do you mean by edema of larynx? That means there would be water retention, water swelling in the larynx area, that is above the bronchus, in the neck area, inside of your mm, nasal cavity. So that may be fatal because it does not allow air to pass through. So the patient is given adrenaline, or the other word for adrenaline is epinephrine or ephedrine. All are the same. So they are given those that hormone. Then H1 receptor uh, antihistamines and adrenal steroids. Then there are other types such as non-urticarial rashes, which are type 1, 2 or 4. These occur in great variety frequently. So here there is a lot of exud lot of exudative, it is lesions. So it has continuously uh, uh, your it would be like a swelling that would be continuously weeping, and there would be rash, and so these are treated with the help of adrenal steroids and skin sensitization to antimicrobial etc. can cause these. Then there are other type of reaction, that is the disease of the lymphoid system. Here infectious here infectious lymphoma or leukemia can be associated with these type of incidences. So over here there would be rash, purpuric patches, means there would be clotting of blood and causing their brown purplish tinge to that particular area of the skin. So this occurs especially when people take aminopenicillin. Aminopenicillin are the two type of penicillins, that two drugs penicillin in the penicillin class, that are ampicillin and amoxicillin. When people allergic to these two drugs are administered these drugs, they suffer from this problem. So here one more drug can cause the problem, that is erythromycin. Erythromycin is also a type of antibiotic. Then the third type of reaction is anaphylactic shock. So anaphylactic shock are the type 1 allergic reactions, as we have discussed in the previous lectures. So they occur when penicillin or anesthetics or iodine containing radio contrast materials are given to patients who are allergic to such type of chemicals. So a severe fall in blood pressure occurs. Anaphylactic, and anytime anaphylactics will mean that there would be fall in the blood pressure, and it would be a lot fatal to the patient. There would be bronchitis etc. So the same way there is fall in the blood pressure, bronchoconstriction, angioedema, and lot of times it can cause death. And this reaction occurs very quickly, and before someone can come and assess the patient, a medical professional can come and assess. This reaction occurs very quickly, the anaphylactic shock, hence the name shock. So within an hour the of the drug administration, these effects can be seen. So here the treatment is very urgent. So treatment such as adrenaline or epinephrine is given to the patient intramuscularly, and cardiopulmonary resuscitation is given to the patient. Then another H1 H1 receptor antihistamine such as chlorpheniramine are given to the patient, and hydrocortisone is given to the patient. Then since this is a anaphylaxis, there is hypotension, that is the fall in the blood pressure causing it is due to the vasodilation. So they are so the vasodilation is restricted with the help of plasma is given to the patient, and the blood volume is tried to increase. Then bronchospasms can occur to the patient. So here that to treat the bronchospasm, beta 2 adrenoreceptor agonists are given, which one of the famous example is noradrenaline or epinephrine. Then this also occurs when patient has encountered a wasp sting or a honeybee stings. So here anaphylactic shock occurs very quickly. So here they are given epinephrine. And other drugs such as amitriptyline or imipramine can also be given, which are safer than adrenaline or epinephrine. Then other type of reaction is one more type of reaction type in the type 1 is pulmonary reaction such as asthma. Asthma due to aspirin or non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, that is short formed as NSAIDs. One of the famous NSAIDs is paracetamol. I want you people to comment in the comment section which are the other commonly occurring NSAIDs, very commonly occurring NSAIDs. One of them starts with I, and which are the brands available with paracetamol and those other NSAIDs as tablets, as creams. Okay, so I want this in the comment section. Then let us come back to the pulmonary reactions, that is asthma. So these can cause bronchoconstriction in some of the people. So some drugs that are some of the NSAIDs, their mechanism of action is blocking of cyclooxygenase, that is COX enzyme, and that causes a pseudo allergic reaction. One of the major one of the major mechanism of action of NSAIDs is blocking of cyclooxygenase enzyme, and that is that blocking causes synthesis of leukotrienes, and it gives a pseudo allergic reactions. Means it is not actually allergy, but it seems like a allergy, hence the name pseudo allergic reaction. So here cough and cough can occur because of the enzyme inhibitors of angiotensin convertase enzyme, that is ACE inhibitors. Whenever ACE inhibitors are given, there cough can occur to the patient, and this is because of the bradykinin. Bradykinin is a pro-inflammatory peptide which is generated because of the inhibition of angiotensin convertase enzyme, and giving rise to a pseudo allergic type of reaction. Other types of pulmonary reactions are type 3 type of reactions. So they are acute or chronic lung infections, pneumonitis, pneumon, pneumon, pneumonitis, that is the inflammation of lungs, fibrosis, or eosinophilia. Eosinophilia means there would be some abnormality in the eosins, that is the WBCs of the patient. Then there is a one type of reaction, that is serum sickness syndrome. This is a type 3 reaction. So this occurs after you have administered the drug, and this will only occur after 2 to 3 weeks after the administration of the drug. So this is treated by adrenal steroids, similar to the urticaria type of treatment. These would be serum sickness is treated. Then blood disorders can also occur. Blood disorders can also be type of allergic reaction. So let us see one by one. So first is thrombocytopenia. This is a type 2 allergic reaction, but it is also a pseudo allergic reaction. Means it is actually not because of the real allergy, but something other is going on that is causing this type of reaction. So this occurs when drugs such as gold, quinine, quinidine, or rifampicin, heparin, etc. are given to the patients. Other drugs such as sulfonamide or estrogens, indomethacin can also be causing this thrombocytopenia. So adrenal steroids are given to cure that condition. Then thrombocytopenia refers to reduction in uh, it is actually thrombocytopenia is either reduction or increase in the number of the platelets. So you have to tell me in the comment section what is it, reduction or increase in the number of platelets. So this is one more homework for you. Then granulocytopenia. So granulocytopenia is related to that to the WBCs of the blood cells. So you have to also tell what is granulocytopenia, high number of granulocytes or low number of granulocytes. So this is again a type 2 reaction, but also a pseudo allergic reaction. So drugs such as carbamazepine, dozapine, chloramphenicol, sulfonamides, etc. are colchicine, etc. are leading to this granulocytopenia. So here problems such as ulcers can occur, mouth ulcers, sore throat can occur, and to cure this, this can also there is they have not mentioned the cure, but they sorry, that to cure the granulocytopenia they have to give bactericidal drugs to treat the infections. Then there is aplastic anemia, again type 2 reaction, but not always allergic. So aplastic anemia occurs due to the drugs such as chloramphenicol, which is a type of antibiotic, sulfonamides, diuretics, antidiabetics, gold, penicillin, allopurinol, felbamate, phenothiazine, insecticides such as DDT, that is docofen, etc. can be causing it. So in case of chloramphenicol, bone marrow depression occurs. So that leads to aplastic anemia. Anemia would be always related to the hemoglobin and the RBC, that is reduction in our hemoglobin or RBC. Then other type of blood disorders are hemolysis. So they have been categorized in different forms, that is allergy, that is type 2. So here problem occurs because of the drugs such as penicillin, methyl-dopa, levodopa, quinine, quinidine. Quinine are anti-malarial drugs, and sulfasalazine, sulfonamides, these are antibiotics, and they cause protein antigen antibody interactions. Then there is other problems such as dose related pharmacodynamic action on normal cells, that is problems such as so your molecules such as lead, benzene, phenylhydrazine, methyl chloride, etc. can cause this hemolysis. Then idiosyncrasy means unknown cause. Whenever there is word idiosyncrasy, means we don't know the exact cause uh, that is resulting in this reaction. So there is precipitation of there's hemolysis, but we don't know the cause. Maybe it would be because of rare genetic hemoglobin problems, or treatment with the treatment withdrawal, when there is treatment given with the help of adrenal steroids, etc. And uh, here blood transfusion is given to the patient. Then fever occurs. So fever occurs because of the interleukin 1 released by the leukocytes. Then there is collagen disease, that is a type 2 reaction, and it's a syndrome resembling collagen type of diseases. So here erythromestosis occurs. Drugs such as hydralazine, procrenamide, isoniazid. Isoniazid is an antiviral drug. Sulfonamides here. So these can cause collagen diseases. Here to treat it, adrenal steroids are given. Then hepatitis and cholestatic jaundice are also sometimes a type of allergic reactions, which are treated with the help of adrenal steroids. Then nephropathy occurs nephropathy would be abnormality of the nephrons, that is the kidneys. So these are type 2 and type 3 reaction, and also damage to other organs is seen, that is myocarditis. Myocarditis means damage to the heart tissues. Again here adrenal steroids are being given. Then let's understand the diagnosis of drug allergies. How do the doctors identify drug allergies? So diagnosis of allergies is generally done with the help of patch. uh, a patch of skin is taken. On the patch of skin, different types of allergens are pricked into the skin, and they see the type reaction that is occurring in that particular area. So here IgE dependent drug reactions would occur. So drugs such as penicillin, cephalosporin, thiopental, streptokinase, cisplatin, insulin, latex, etc. are in injected in the subcutaneous layer or very superficial layer of the skin. So if there is drug allergy to those particular drugs, then there would be IgE antibodies release, etc., and it will cause rash or allergic reaction. You can see redness in that patch. If no, then that patch would be clear after 24 hours. So if there is such type of reaction, allergic reactions, further the patient can also undergo radio allergosorbent test, that is the RAST test. So drug allergies are detected in that way. Then there is one more problem with allergies, such as desensitization. What do you mean by that? That is, a patient has suffered with a IgE mediated reaction to penicillin, which so that person has already suffered a reaction, but that penicillin is needed to treat some type of infection to the patient, such as meningitis, endocarditis, etc. conditions need to be treated with this penicillin. So these are desensitized with the help of small amount of allergens, and so that they are so they can tolerate the normal dose, and then the treatment is given. So this is a type of solution to the problem of allergy. Then we come to prevention of allergic reactions. How do we prevent allergic reaction? Because allergic reactions can also be unpleasant and fatal. To prevent them, they have to be proprietary name of the drug should be given. So there is no problem with while giving the different doses to the patients, because sometimes what happens is the drug is correct, but the excipient the drug would excipient coming with along with the drug can be allergic to the patient. So in this case, the proprietary name, that particular brand name drug should be given in that patient. Then effects of prolonged administration to organ toxicity. Before we come to this, you would have a question that in the generic medicine lecture that you had attended in primers, the sir said that you can use generic drugs which have same effective efficacy as that of brand name. So why to use that particular proprietary name, brand name drug only? So here we are talking about only a few number of people. Those would have allergy to a particular excipient. Rest of the 100 people, rest of the 1000 people are not going to have this problem. So they can use any generic medicine only when the patient has very sensitive allergic type of reactions. Allergy is there. Only in this case the brand name drug should be used. Then we come to the effect of prolonged administration, such as the problems occur such as chronic organ toxicity. So because of the drugs there can be toxicity to the organs in the body. So let's start with eye. So eye, because of chloroquine, toxic cataract can be seen. Then other drugs such as adrenal steroids, phenothiazine, alkylating agents can also cause toxic cataract. Then corneal opacities occurs due to phenothiazine, chloroquine. Then retinal injuries develop because of thioridazine, that is a antipsychotic drug. Then chloroquine, indomethacin, etc. Then nervous system toxicity occurs. So here problems such as tardive dyskinesia occur with drugs which are neuroleptic. Polyneuritis. Polyneuritis occurs because of metronidazole. Optic neuritis occurs because of the drug ethambutol. Then lungs. Lung fibrosis can occur because of the drug amiodarone. Sulfasalazine can also give problems such as fibrosing alveolitis. Then kidney. Gold salts cause nephropathy to the kidney. Then liver. Methotrexate is a type of antibiotic. Methotrexate, sorry, not antibiotic, it is a type of anti-cancer drug. So it damages the liver. Then hepatic failure, hepatic fibrosis can occur. Amiodarone can also induce steatohepatitis. That is steto here. Steto means fatty liver. Steto means fatty. So here hepatitis means steatohepatitis means fatty liver. Then carcinogenesis. How can carcinogenesis occur? So carcinogenesis is a very complex cancer. Cancer is very complex. We don't know the exact cause why cancer etc. occur, but still there is a prediction that some drugs can cause cancer because of their because they can cause, some of the drug can cause alteration in the DNA, that is genotoxicity or mutagenicity. So here alkylating agents etc. can be causing this problem. Then immunosuppression can be seen because of the drugs such as uh, which the drug which are given for cancer chemotherapy. Then hormonal uh, alteration. So here long term use of estrogen replacement in postmenopausal women causes endometrial cancer, and also diethylstilbestrol causes vaginal adenosis etc. in the patients and their even their offsprings. So carcinogenesis is not clear why exactly, if whether a particular cancer has been caused because the drug that you had given 40-50 years back to the patient, but still this is a chance probability that that drug that was given to the patient that long back 40-50 years back still the patient is suffering from, because of that drug the patient would suffer from other cancer in the future. Hence the drug approval of drug is a very crucial step when there is in during the drug development stage. The approval of drug is very the last stage of drug development. Still it is the most important step in drug development. And whenever a new drug comes in the market or vaccine comes, we never know what adverse effect it would cause in, even in one person it causes some kind of adverse effect, then to the company which has made that drug is in problem. Hence clinical trials etc are very important phases in any drug development cycle. So let's go ahead and see adverse effects on reproduction. So there can be direct or indirect effects of reproduction in the reproduction cycle. So direct effects can be thalidomide or cytotoxic drugs, antithyroid drugs, aromatic retinoids such can affect the cell division of the fetus, protein synthesis, DNA synthesis, etc. Indirect can be on the uterus. So there is vasoconstriction, reduction in blood supply, hence causing fetal anoxia, that is no oxygen is provided to the fetus and causing to the causing uh, uterine contraction and leading to abortion, or the mother's hormonal balance are haywired. So let's see one by one what are the different toxicities that can occur to the allergies, reactions that can occur to the patient, especially in the reproductive organs. So if the some of the drugs are given to early during the early pregnancy, so drugs such as misoprostol, ergot alkaloids or diethyl silvestrol, they are causing abortion in the patients. Then some of the drugs can be teratogenic and will not so they can be causing harm to the fetus. So other problems can so the teratogenic drugs such as warfarin, alcohol, lithium, methotrexate, phenytoin, sodium valproate, then drugs such which are used for which are the angiotensin convertase enzyme inhibitors, that is ACE inhibitors, and iso isoto isotoretinoin, that is isotoretinoin is a retinoic drug used for some eye disorders. So these can be causing teratogenic effects to patients. So problems such as flipper like limbs means uh, the there would be skin between two fingers etc, so that type of skin limbs would be developed. And there is a very uh, there is a very tragedy that had happened, a very sad tragedy, that is a thalidomide tragedy that was occurred. uh, so in the thalidomide tragedy, the thalidomide was a drug that was given to the pregnant woman to cure their morning sickness. But later on, as those pregnant ladies gave birth to babies, it was found that the limbs were not developed properly. Then so once there was thorough research on that, it was later discovered that uh, because those women During the pregnancy, they were given thalidomide to cure the morning sickness. The limbs of babies born from to them were their limb development was not complete, and they were born with incomplete limbs, so incomplete hand or legs, etc. So thalidomide tragedy is a very very sad tragedy that had occurred. You can also find more about it on the internet. uh, Hence, to give any drug, there should be thorough research. Only then this drug should be given to the any type of patients, be it pregnant woman or healthy individual. All the drugs are thoroughly, very very thoroughly studied upon. The the regulatory bodies have a very very strong hold on all the tests that are carried out, the clinical trials, the phase, uh, different phases in the clinical trials, etc. So that is why clinical trials is also a very important work and a very interesting field. You people can also find about it, find about more about the clinical trials, and very nice field for also in the future. Now and also in the future it would be having a lot of stuffs going, so you can also look for clinical trial uh, in the future for your career. So let's understand the uh, other drugs which can cause problems in late pregnancy. So your uh, antithyroid drugs can cause fetal goiter. Lithium or tetracyclines can cause interference in the growth of bone and teeth of the fetus. Then ACE inhibitors are causing problem in the renal tubular dysgenesis. Then skull ossification defect. Tobacco smoking can also cause problem in the fetal growth. uh, so inhibitors of prostaglandin synthesis such as the aspirin, indomethacin cause delay in the onset of the labor to the woman, the pregnant woman. Then congenital cataract can also occur to uh, uh, so uh, to the patient who might be on drugs, some of the drugs. Then chloroquine, chlorpromazine can cause fetal defects in fetal eye. Retinopathy can also be occurring. So uh, anticoagulants can also affect in the pregnancy. Drugs which are given to the mother before the labor, such as can also affect the fetus. So CNS depressants, etc., can affect the baby, or vasoconstrictors can cause reducing uterine blood supply. At beta adrenoreceptors blocker, etc., sulfonamides, etc., can change the bilirubin, displace the bilirubin from the plasma protein, hence can later on cause problems to the patient, that is the babies. Then there is a very important concept, that is some of the babies whose mothers are addicted to drugs such as opioids or alcohol. They so these have smooth pregnancies, everything is proper, but when the baby comes out, when the baby is born, the baby shows withdrawal syndromes, because the baby's body has got used to that particular molecules, the particular chemicals. So when the baby is born, the baby shows withdrawal syndrome such as shivering, etc. So this is a very important problem that babies, even though it's not their fault, they have to suffer from that that painful problems. Then the drugs that are given to mothers during labor can also affect the patient, or that is the baby. So the drugs such as diazepams, which are depressant, etc., can uh, cause cause depression, like uh, can interfere in baby's suckling, that is the baby would not be able to suckle milk from mother's breast, etc. Then central nervous system uh, development can also be hampered because of psychotropic drugs that are used in uh, during the pregnancy. Then detection of teratogens. Teratogens means any chemical compound that is going to uh, that is going to cause problems in the baby's cell divisions, etc. So they cause late behavioral consequences. Uh, so let's get back to the problems that can occur in the male reproductive system. So impotence can occur due to autoimmune sympathetic drugs that affect the autoimmune sympathetic functions, that is antihypertensive drug can cause impotence to the patients. Then spermatogenesis can be reduced due to the drugs such as sulfasalazine, mesalazine. Then cytotoxic anti-cancer drugs, which can be reversible or irreversible, can cause cytotoxicity, some of the anti-cancer drugs. Then nitrofurantoin can also cause reduction in spermatogenesis. Then there is a global decline in the sperm concentration, because maybe it is because of the environmental causes. The air that we breathe now, it is a lot of polluted air, so that can be also a major cause of problems that are occurring nowadays. So this brings us to the end of allergic reactions. You can read this from the book Clinical Pharmacology, Bennett and Brown. Please go through it, and we will also study about other topics in the unit 3 in the upcoming lectures.